Now, this is a team battle none of you probably expected. I'm playing Jungle Cassiopeia. Which one? I've got into the habit of making my normal games pretty much just have any random ass champion for Stick 2, and I chose Cassiopeia for this one. I believe my runes and masters were Magic Pen Red, Armor Yellow, Magic Resistance Blues. Well, no. Ability Power Blues, sorry for that, and 5 or 6, I think it was 6 cooldown reduction blues. And my quints were movement speed quints. My masters were something like 21, 6, and 3, or no, 6 and 4, I think, something like that. I wanted the movement speed. I know she gets movement speed with a Q, but holy shit, I don't want to die. I'm just trying to get, really quick, just move as quick as possible and get into ganking position as best as possible, since I don't really have any hard crowd control aside from my ultimate, which isn't that great. So anyways, first thing I do is go down bottom lane, despite the fact that Alistair got his ass kicked, and now I'm not, this is going to be kind of a forced gank. I screw up my E, so I'm not going to get the pattern on it, but I burn pretty much all their summoner spells. Wukong shows up right now and decides to try to be a hero and gank. I missed a lot of my spells. This is 2 a.m. in the morning, alright? This game was played at 2 a.m. And at least it ended up looking in a funny-ass death with Kog'Maw. I think he exploded sooner than he had to, but it got him an early triple kill. And that in itself is pretty good and worth it. So, meh. One of the things about Cassiopeia that you're going to become quite readily apparent is that even though he has, even though I will have blue, and even though I'll have some mana items, just like Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, shit, you don't have any mana to spare. She is one of the most hungry champions for mana in the game. I know her passive is supposed to alleviate this, but in the jungle, you're not going to keep it up. Unless, you randomly use it in between camps and such. But anyways, Jungle Cassiopeia, believe it or not, was arguably the fastest jungler in Season 1. And is still probably the fastest jungler, period. She just destroys camps. The only problem is she's got absolutely no sustain whatsoever. She will run through her mana really quickly. Unless, if you can maintain her passive, if you can maintain her passive, then that helps out a lot. Of course, you can throw it on the ground, keep 5 stacks up there. But if you have to, move back and forth to gank, and you don't want to give away your position, then you can't just throw out your Qs or whatever. Anyways, I have a feeling Wukong's going to show up, and there he goes. This fight does not go well because Alistair burned his headbutt early. He should kind of have saved it. He shouldn't be trying to provoke them because there was a Wukong nearby. So this fight is honestly very ugly. I managed to stun Wukong, but he's still going to get his ultimate off. Zed joins the fray, and, we kill the Blitzcrank, and the Zed's getting himself damaged. I get tripped out and killed, and the Zed lives. Wukong decides to, for whatever reason, re-engage, and he will die. He kills Alistair, but then he dies. Farmyard animals killing each other. Kog'Maw dies, and instead of going for the obvious kill, Lucian goes for Zed, and pretty much attains nothing from that. Meanwhile, though, Ziggs was taking out mid lane, and he got a tower down, and almost got a second tower down too. And I show up just in time to die as well. So I'll tell you this, I'm sucking so much ass early. I haven't actually not played Cassiopeia in a long time outside of ARAM and Dominion. So this is kind of fuck. Gotta get back to using this champion, but damn, does she melt camps ridiculously quick. I wasn't lying when I said that she was probably one of the fastest junglers, if not the fastest jungler still. It's just damn, especially when you get the Spirit Atom. Just you 1 Q and 1 W, camp is dead. You can walk away from it. Hell, when you get another item, like a Leandry's, 1 Q kills a camp by itself. She deals a shitload of damage, especially against opponents who don't seem to be interested in their self-preservation and don't buy magic resistance. So, yeah. Spirit of the Spectral Wraith really does help her, as you can obviously see. One spell and restores a lot of her health and a lot of her mana, but still, she's not going to have enough mana even with the. So that's why you see me buy mana potions up the ass. That was a terrible ultimate, but it's going to be enough to do quite a bit of damage on him. Lucian re-engages. The enemy team shows up. Then my team shows up. They get bung blasted by the Ziggs, and then they all step on the potion. The poison. So they all start getting torn to pieces. Wukong follows in soon, his death, and we follow the rest of them, slowing them down, applying poison. Alistair fails. His headbutt pulverized, but we force out more summoner spells. Yeah. The early game is really botched, and it is 2 a.m., so pretty much most of us are drunk either by lack of sleep or drunk because we're, Americans. Anyways, Wukong tries to steal it. I secure it with a smite. Fight breaks out. I go in, and I stun 2 people. I would have stunned Wukong probably, but he died. I try to focus the Blitzcrank because I felt they would be able to kill Lucian by themselves, but they didn't do enough damage, so I turned around and, helped out my teammates. Zed comes in, picks up the Alistair, and the rest of us are just kind of fucked. I try to suicide, I get caught by Blitz and die, and then Kog'Maw gets killed by Zed. So, the dragon and a few kills aren't looking so nice either. I also might steal blue from the Ziggs, because honestly, with all due respect to the guy, he wasn't doing well this game, or as well as I had hoped he would do. I know I ended up just donating blue to them, but I killed Lucian. And then, this is just stupid from my team. Kog'Maw's pushing even though the enemy team was nearby. The other 2 showed up bottom lane even though they know the other team was nearby and they just saw Kog'Maw die. So they too joined them in the grave. So that was just a bunch of free kills given to the enemy team. I wouldn't have known that they were waiting at red buff, but at least they took Lucian to hell with me. Oh yeah, I tend to not give blue buffs to teammates who aren't doing exceptionally well or making obviously silly choices. Here I pretty much got stuck between a rock and a hard place, so I just tried burning every spell I could before I dropped, so at least some of my poison rubbed off on them. And once again, the fight does not go in our favor. Kog'Maw dies, the other guys remain a little too much longer than they should, but the Rise is finally able to join the fight, and kind of scares them away. We still trade 2 for nothing, so you can see that this is kind of an uphill battle already. I'm building Leandries and Rylai's. I'm going for a more cost-effective build on Cassiopeia, and I'm going for a more utilitarian kind of build. And I'm just sort of farming it up right now. With Rylai's Scepter and Leandries, I'll be able to at least keep them at bay and burn them for all they're worth. Even if I die, I hope my dots just tear them to pieces. I go back with Rylai's Scepter and another mana potion, obviously. I believe I am ready to fight. And of course I get another blue buff. Look at my mana! That shit is expensive. I'm not going to buy a Tear of the Goddess and shit, but then that would have delayed any power spike I wanted. So here the enemy team, wants to engage on us. They definitely have the stronger engage. Ziggs blows himself into the enemy team. Fight ensues. I get the hell away from the Blitzcrank, but I use, my Scream on pretty much nobody. I think I hit the Wukong when he was stealth, but then, they kind of decide to fight on my poison, and then they realize, Jesus shit, the poison does a lot of damage. Let's run away for our lives. And then they die. And then they flee. So we get 3 for 1, which is definitely in our advantage, and it's going to give us a free tower. Well, not a free tower, it's just a slightly contested tower. And then Wukong decides to go in just to, bleed on us. Of course, he's going to be taken down by all the poisons and the blast and everything. Yes, my team is primarily magic. And the fact that the enemy team did not build any magic resistance until much later is really stupid. They really should have just all had one of those, Superman capes. What they're called. Anyways, Alistair dies for no reason, and I'm just trying to remove the Banshee's Veil from the Blitzcrank. I believe I am kind of the way the thing is going to give my team its chance at victory. Mostly because my slow and my ultimate will help us win. Of course, here I get a little too close and get silenced, and I don't do enough damage to kill the Blitzcrank, so he gets to live. So I trade my life for nothing. That was a bad one. But I promise you, I will not die anymore. And at that point, I was actually starting to get frustrated because, you know what? I want a good Cassiopeia game. I was actually having fun as Cassiopeia. This was a fun game, despite the fact that we were all having, a torturous amount of, laning phase. It's just all that damage, all that clear speed is really fun to see. And I want to try to build her with a mana item next time, because holy shit, do I run out of mana. So the enemy team all chases with their faces, looking in my direction, and they get bomb blasted by my ultimate. Zed soon follows because he decides to dance in my poison. So we ended up killing 3 of them for only 2 of ours. And now with that, we're able to push down their inhibitor. I go get blue buff though, because shit, that shit's expensive and I can't really do much. Once I buy Zanya's Hourglass, the Zed won't be able to do dick to me, so that's pretty much my other priority item right now. I could have bought it much earlier and survived a lot of the shit, but I believe Rylai Scepter was kind of one of my big ticket items here that I needed, and Leandris would keep my damage relevant, especially considering they're not buying any goddamn magic resistance. In fact, they're buying armor for some goddamn reason. They're buying armor. They bought a Randuin's Omen against a pretty much 100% magic team. Yeah, like, Kog'Maw has physical damage, and I know Blair the Rune King is physical damage in its passive in some weird way. But holy shit, they really should have considered magic resistance. Because, like, Kog'Maw's like half magic, I believe. So, yeah, they kind of wasted some of their gold in buying frivolous items. Here I go. I find myself a Zed. I miss my spells on him because, you know, that's kind of what you should do as AP champion. Suck ass at hitting your spells. However, he uses his ultimate. I use my Hourglass. It pretty much comes to nothing. And now it's just delaying his death. He blinks over to, you know, my poison and pretty much gets it applied. But whatever. Ziggs picks up the kill. It makes him look good. We push top lane with no resistance until, you know, Blitzcrank shows up. But he can't do dick, so he just runs away. The rest of my team starts collapsing. The enemy team shows up. We really can't push, and I'm not trusting the Alistair to initiate anything properly. So I pretty much ask my team to back away. The enemy team, my Alistair engages. Wukong gets a good initiation on us because of that, but he pretty much gets destroyed. He has absolutely no damage. Zed follows up though and kills my teammates, and I really just can't do anything here. I suck. I failed my ultimate, and I have to back away. My poison's not going to do anything, and I also screwed up my ace, so that shit's bad. The enemy team though at least lost 2 members, so they can't really do anything. I go home, buy Chalice of Harmony, which I probably should have bought a lot sooner, seeing as I have mana problems. And I'm still hogging the blue buff because screw everybody else. The enemy team is trying to do Baron, and they do get it. And watch this. This is actually very important. It's a line of sight trick. Boom! Before they reach the line of sight, I hit them with my ultimate, so they have 0 chance to retaliate or turn around or anything. So they all got destroyed by my ultimate. That is a basic line of sight trick. That's something you learn to do in the jungle. They can't see through the bushes. They can't even see, like, even if the bushes aren't in a straight line covering the entire line of fire of war, they can't see behind it even if the sides are exposed. So, it doesn't matter. Like, even if I shot them through the bushes, they wouldn't have been able to see me. So I kind of waited until they were closer to me and, like, you know, had the bushes in between us. So if I used my ultimate, it would stun them and I'd create even more distance if I had to run. Turned out it was a good chance to fight them right there. So, yay. My team re-engages here. They want to fight for the dragon, and same damn thing here. As soon as they get close to the bushes, I use my ultimate, and bam, like, just, you know, they wouldn't have been able to see me once they unstunned. I mean, yeah, once they unstunned, and I just keep blasting at them with my artillery, poison, and shit. So here you go. Fight breaks out, Zed leaves. I stay in relatively melee range because I want him to stand full time in my poison, and then he drops. I survived with a little bit of health. I thought I was going to die and then Alistair would have to bitch slap him to death, but thankfully I survived. But either way, that line of sight trick is actually something I recommend people, you know, practice. It's really good when you use junglers such as Trundle or Lee Sin. It's so people, you know, don't dodge your skill shots or, you know, you trick them into not being able to chase you. Take them go into the bush and throw your skill shot and they won't be able to do anything to you. Yay. But if they're in the bush, they can see outside of the line of sight, so don't try to do it there. Anyways, another fight breaks out. This time, it's probably a really scattered and terrible fight. It's really nonsensical. Blitzcrank pulls me in, realizes it's a bad idea. Lucian gets bum blasted by a lot of AP. My ultimate kills Blitzcrank. Zed goes in, snaps on my poison. I use my Hourglass, and it just all hell broke loose. But it ended up to the enemy team losing, so hooray for us. Wukong decides to go in and just die. If he didn't do this, the game would have ended with an even kill spread. Right now, though, it's pretty much even in the gold. Like, yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna get a gold lead right now by these towers, but honestly, if it ends the game, it doesn't really count. It was a pretty damn even game. It was a pretty damn difficult game too, and it was fun. I actually enjoyed playing Cassiopeia, and I think I think later I might actually want to play her a bit more. Hooray for Snake Lady! This is like the first time you've been used in a million games.